You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
But, okay, looking at this Chargers team, I think it starts with this defense and a Harbaugh-led team. You look at this defensive line, there's a lot of money there. You have Khalil Mack, you have Joey Bosa on the edges. Joey Bosa, when was the last time this guy stayed healthy? I don't know. Khalil Mack had great numbers last year, but, I mean, he's starting to get a little old. And then I love Asante Samuel. I love Derwin James. I love a lot of guys on this defense. But up to this point, we really haven't seen him perform, but it's also Harbaugh, and he gets the most out of people. So, what are you expecting from this defense here?
I think Khalil Mack is going to keep being a dude. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be another double-digit sack season.
They should trade him to Chicago.
He'll get 8 to 10 sacks for sure, and he'll be a constant presence against the run. But outside of that, I mean, I don't know what to expect from Joey Bosa. I think Thule is going to be a pretty solid football player in the league for a while. Like, I'm not sure he's going to be a star, but I think he's going to be good. I think his numbers were a little inflated last year, but ultimately, I do think he's a solid edge rusher who can probably beat if Joey Bosa goes down. I feel fine with Thule stepping in and being the guy there at that point. On the interior, I like Morgan Fox more than I probably should, but behind that, I mean, Poona Ford is it's a lot of very meh stuff on this D-line outside of Khalil Mack and Thule. And like Bosa, I'd almost put in the meh at this point just because we haven't seen it in a while. You know, I mean, he's a good football player. It's just a question of whether he will be out there.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do moving forward with this defense, but I mean, I like the guys that they have currently, and if they can stay healthy with Harbaugh, I like it a lot. But you look at this team and what they lost this year. Lost both their wide receivers, they lost their tight end, and they lost Austin Eckler. And I don't think Austin Eckler is that big of a loss, but I think losing Everett, Allen, and Williams, even though Williams hasn't really necessarily been able to stay healthy, I mean, when he was healthy, he was an absolute force. And now you look at this wide receiver room with Quentin Johnson, Joshua Palmer, Ladd McConkey. Will Disley at tight end, I don't hate. So, I mean, do you think they're expecting Quentin Johnson to make any sort of jump here? Or do you think this is just we'll find receivers later? It's not the most important thing in our offense right now.
I think there's some Harbaugh hubris here. Who's like, yeah, Michael Crabtree wasn't that good till I got my hands on him either. You know, like, I mean, I think there's some of that going. I think there's some of Jim Harbaugh watched Quentin Johnson torch his defense in a college football playoff game too. Yeah. So you know he believes there's something more there.
You think that's the sole reason why I took this job? Because everybody's like, Quentin Johnson sucks, and he was like, just at home, he was like, Quentin Johnson doesn't suck. I saw him torch me, and so he was like, I'm gonna go take this job just to prove to people that Quentin Johnson doesn't suck.
Probably. I mean, I think
that sounds like something Harbaugh would do.
Yeah. It really does. I mean, I like Josh Palmer. He's a wide receiver 3, maybe a low-end wide receiver 2. But in this offense, he's going to have to be 2 if Quentin Johnson is 1, unless Ladd McConkey becomes that guy, which I wouldn't say he can. I like Ladd McConkey a whole heck of a lot, but it's just a lot of weight on a rookie.
Yeah, and so what kind of passing game does Roman have? What does he? Is he like a West Coast guy when it comes to passing? Like, because I know he's run heavy.
Passing game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really basic stuff. I don't even know that I could put it in a branch of anything like West Coast or like God, I don't even know what else you'd throw out there. Like
I mean, you got like air raid.
It's not air raid.
RPOs kinda.
It's probably RPO more like
a 1980s San Francisco 49ers.
Maybe like a Schottenheimer. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's a lot of play action. A lot of the route concepts really aren't that complex. Everything is pretty simple, but it's all based around the run game. Like that's my understanding of it, at least.
With that being said, what do you think about this running back room with Gus Edwards, Isaiah Spiller, J.K. Dobbins? I love J.K. Dobbins coming into the draft. I think he would have been fantastic on that Ravens team without injuries. I mean, I think when he was healthy, he showed a lot of good things. But last time he was fully healthy, I thought even though fully healthy, J.K. Dobbins, he looked slow.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even talk about it. Like, I just, it's been so little the last, like he didn't play last year hardly. He only had 22 rushing yards. Like, so I can't put much faith in J.K. Dobbins. Gus Edwards has been reliable. He's been a constant in this league. So I wouldn't say he can't.
Were all three of these guys on the Ravens at one point?
Isaiah Spiller
over there?
He was drafted by the Chargers.
Oh, okay.
Spiller might have a shot. Like, Spiller hasn't really had a lot of opportunity with the Chargers. So maybe he might bust out here. Kamani Vidal, I think, is a really nice pickup for them. And a guy who, if you're in a dynasty league, you probably want to pick up Kamani Vidal because he's going to get opportunities in this room.
And maybe this is the year Hayden Hurst finally breaks out.
Hey, maybe. I mean, so ultimately where I land with this is like, this team's going to run block.
Yeah.
Someone's going to get the rushing yards.
Yeah. I mean, you look at this offensive line, Rashawn Slater is an absolute like road grader on that offensive line. Then I like Bradley Bozeman at center a lot. We both kind of like Zion Johnson last year in the draft.
Or 2 years ago.
2 years ago, whatever. I remember us talking about him. But I mean, I think there's a lot to like here. When we were talking about,
they picked up a UDFA offensive guard named Willis Patrick. That has to be a joke. I didn't even catch that when I was writing this. That can't be real.
Hey, he just saw the name and he was like, "Oh, that guy's out there."
Yeah.
He's like, are we sure this name's correct?
Corey Lindsley retiring hurts, but it wasn't unexpected. They were prepared. They picked up Bradley Bozeman, who knows this offensive scheme well. He's worked with Greg Roman in Baltimore. Jamari Sawyer is a nice surprise for this team last year, 2 years ago.
It's crazy how much Baltimore is on this team, considering his brother. Like,
yeah,
it's just like the older brother's like, okay, I'm done playing with all this. Like, you can have it now.
But I mean, I really, this group, they haven't historically shown a strong ability to run block. You look at those PFF run block grades, it's a lot of red. But
I think in a different offensive
and in a gap scheme, I think they're going to be able to do some.
Yeah, I think a different style is definitely going to help. And yeah, it says they weren't great at run blocking, but I mean, Austin Eckler took 7 minutes to hit a hole last year too. Like,
half the quarter was done by the time he got there.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that definitely has something to do with it. And I kind of changed my thought about this team last year when we were talking about quarterbacks and we were looking at this roster with Justin Herbert, and we talked about it last week too. I mean, I think numbers wise, this is probably gonna be Justin Herbert's worst year, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if they have probably their most success since Justin Herbert entered the league.
Yeah, no, I could see it. I mean, I don't recall the year they made the playoffs. I think they might have won 11 games.
I think it was either 10 or
11 or 12, I want to say.
And then they missed a win and get in game the year before that.
Yeah. But
yeah, I
mean, I think they have a chance to go get 10, maybe even 11 wins this season. I think they're there to be had. But yeah. I do agree with you. I think Herbert's numbers are going to be down relative to what we're used to from him because, I mean, who's he throwing to?
Yeah, I mean, so I see a lot of potential here. I mean, DJ Chark was supposed to be like the next guy at one time, and I know he's older now. But, I mean, if he goes out there and just catches the ball, I think he's still a pretty good route runner. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes out there and catches 65, 70 balls. And if he's the true wide receiver three,
that's always been the thing with them.
Yeah, but if he's the true wide receiver 3, I mean, I think he can give some pretty good production there. And like you were saying earlier, Josh Palmer, a fringe 2 guy, probably a true 3. But if Quentin Johnson can just be
something,
have something, yeah. I mean, I don't hate this wide receiver room. I absolutely don't love it by any means.
And if Ladd McConkey's the big question to me, like if Ladd McConkey can be what I think he can be, this receiver room starts to look fine. you know.
Yeah, and then you look at this tight end room. I mean, is Parham isn't he like huge? Isn't he like 6'7" or something like that?
He's huge. He's not that good. Like he's fine.
Yeah,
You know,
but
it doesn't really. They added, but they're going to run a lot of heavy personnel. Is what I see in this tight end room. They're going to be in 12, 13 personnel.
I think Desley catches the ball fine. I think he's a pretty good route runner.
Yeah, he's fine.
So I mean, I think they can get some production in the receiving game there too. So I mean, there's some stuff to like here, but I mean, it's a Greg Roman offense. It's a run first offense, but it's a Greg Roman offense without Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing.
And how does that change? Like,
or Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, but was he the OC in San Francisco?
Yeah, he was the Kaepernick brainchild. Like,
so he's just been with the Harbaughs his entire career, basically?
Yeah, pretty much. He was at Stanford too, I think.
That's crazy. But I didn't realize that. But yeah,
yeah, no, he's a Harbaugh through and through, man.
So Justin Herbert, I mean, it's not that he's not athletic, but he's not Kaepernick, and he's certainly not Lamar.
Yeah. Now let's look at the defense a little bit. We already talked a little bit about the D line. They went and had Bud Dupree, so they got another pro in there at least.
Retired.
So did I, but I mean they picked him up last week. He must have just been injured. No, he was in Atlanta last year. And he played 63% of the snaps. So he was around. He can set the edge still. He's not gonna give you a ton for the pass rush, I don't think, unless there's like was a long recovery from an injury or something. But the interior is really the spot where I get concerned about this defense. Like the edges, they got plenty of bodies there, and they got plenty of proven talent there. The edges will be fine, but the edges are going to need to take pressure off of the interior. And maybe they went and got a D coordinator who's going to run that Raven system that we saw last year. So it's going to be more of a versatile front where you're going to say, maybe some of these edges can take pressure off the interior, but I just don't know if they have the big bodies in there. I mean, Morgan Fox is a smaller guy. Scott Matlock is a bit of a tweener between D tackle, like 3-4 end type thing. I don't know a lot about Agbanya. Puna Ford's a little undersized. I just worry about their size.
How long did it take the 49ers to get good under Harbaugh? Was it 2 years?
Not even. It was year one.
Oh, was it year one?
I knew it was 12 games out the gate.
I knew it was quick. And they were coming off like a 4-win season or something like that.
Yeah.
From Chip Kelly, right? Or was Chip Kelly after?
No, it was Tom Sula was the head coach.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then Tom Sula was the head coach after Harbaugh. Tom Sula just doesn't leave San Francisco.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think we could see a really quick turnaround here.
I do too, and I mean, the linebacker room has some talent. I think Diane Henley was a guy I liked in the draft last year.
Don't tell that to a Chargers fan. They're the worst roster in the league.
Where one thing that I do like about this roster is the safeties. I feel like they have some pretty solid safeties here between Gilman and Derwin James.
I think a healthy Derwin James is the best safety in the league.
Yeah. But I do have some questions in the corner room behind Asante Samuel. Like Fulton has never really worked out. Jasir Taylor played some decent snaps last year, put up some decent
They could go sign J.C. Jackson. I think he's a free agent.
Is he again?
Yeah.
Did he go back? Give him another bag.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? 87 million? Like 80 or 63 million guaranteed or something. And
I don't even know.
Barely made it through a season.
Yeah. Or no, he didn't make it through the first season. He got hurt, but he was there like a year and a half.
Yeah, that's a pretty good return. I'll tell you what.
I will say, I think 5th round pick Cam Hart is going to be starting for this team.
Where's he from?
Notre Dame. He is feisty as hell. He is a Harbaugh dude through and through. I think he's going to be starting for this team and succeeding as long as he can stay healthy. Like
Richard Sherman.
I look at this corner room and I'm like, I want Cam Hart playing.
Yeah. I can see it for sure. And yeah, there's definitely room there to find his way into the role.
Yeah. All right. So
it's not to say Samuel Jr. hasn't necessarily stayed healthy. Nobody on this team stayed healthy. I mean, that's going to be the biggest question mark for him is health.
Yeah. No, I think so. Cam Hart, I had like a 2nd round grade on the dude. The health must have been pretty ugly for him to fall as far as he did.
Yeah.
But let's get to the Chargers schedule here. And so opening up at home against the Raiders. You got the Raiders taking this.
Yeah.
one.
I think Antonio Pierce coming off last year. I mean, I think he's got a lot of momentum there, and yeah, I think I like what he's doing with that team. I think they start hot next year, and then I think talent catches up to them.
I can see that
later in the season.
I can see that, but I just have a really hard time seeing Harbaugh lose his first game, especially against the team that blew out the Chargers 60-14 last year. I think that this is a statement game for Harbaugh, and I think they're going to find a way to win no matter what.
See, I feel like this is like whenever he first got to Michigan, and an inferior Michigan State team just beat him all the time, and nobody could figure out why until they didn't.
Okay.
And then you got Panthers week 2. I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Panthers this year. I like the Chargers here.
I think the Panthers are going to be feistier than anyone's saying, but I like the Chargers there too.
I mean, I think they'll be feisty. I think they might be the Lions of 4 years ago, to where you're going to end this season. You're going to look up. They're going to be like 4-13, but they covered 14 games.
Yeah.
I could see that being the Panthers.
All right, so Chargers starting off with 3 straight road games, going to Pittsburgh in week 3.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's a tough game, but I like the Chargers here, actually.
Okay. I'm taking the Steelers in this one. The Steelers have a hard schedule, but you know they're going to win some games, and this is one of them that I just have them find.
Well, Chargers have the Cowboys the next week, and I think the Steelers have the Cowboys the next week, and I think they win that game.
Okay. And then, so week 4, Chiefs go to the Chargers. What do you see happening there?
I like the Chiefs here.
Okay.
I think they won the first one, and I think they split. I think they split that one. Both went on the road. And then next up we have Chargers Broncos. I like the Chargers here. I mean, until I see something out of this Peyton led Broncos team, Bo Nix led Broncos team. Who else is there?
Do you remember the Bo Nix game?
No, I remember it happening. I couldn't watch it.
That was against Justin Herbert. Yeah, you told this story. That was against Justin Herbert. So this is the rematch of the original Bo Nix game.
Yeah, it is, and I don't expect to have Bo Nix magic in this game. And it's crazy that Justin Herbert's in his 4th year in the league, and this is Bo Nix's rookie year.
Yeah,
and I think that was Justin Herbert's 2nd year in college compared to Bo Nix's first. Yeah, so they were only one year difference. And 4 years later, we're getting a rookie Bo Nix versus a second contract.
It's insane.
Justin Herbert. Hey, but then we have Cardinals here. I like the Cardinals here. I was about to say. I snakily like the Cardinals here.
On Monday Night Football.
Yep.
Cardinals were one of the best teams in the NFL at home against the spread last year, and I think they were actually close to 500 at home, and they got better.
Yep. So then we have the Saints next. I like the Chargers here. I don't really know what the Saints are doing as an organization right now.
Yeah. Then how about Chargers going to the Browns week 9?
I want to take the Browns here. I don't love this Browns team. I really don't like Deshaun Watson, but I keep forgetting about Nick Chubb. And so let me take the Browns.
That defense is going to give them a chance in every game.
Absolutely. Titans Chargers. I low-key don't hate the Titans this year as much as I probably should, but I'm going to take the Chargers.
The Titans just did all they could to band-aid everything up and be like, we can compete.
You look at their roster and you're like, oh, it's not 2019 anymore.
Yeah.
But if this was 2019, holy shit, they would be good.
How about the Bengals going to the Chargers?
I like the Bengals in this game. I just love Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I was saying, the Chargers secondary, I just don't know if they can hang with the Bengals wide receivers.
Yep. Baltimore, I think this is going to be a super fun game. I mean, not only do you have the brothers, but, I mean, they're going to want to play the same game, kind of. We have the new offensive coordinator in Baltimore, so we don't really know how that offense is going to look yet. But I think this is a super fun game, but I'm taking the Ravens here.
Wait, it's the same OC in Baltimore, isn't it?
Was Greg Roman already on last year?
Yeah, it was. I always forget his name. We had this happen last week too. He was Georgia's OC before going to the Ravens last year.
Where was Greg Roman last year?
Nowhere.
Oh, okay.
He might have been a consultant somewhere, but he wasn't a coordinator.
Okay. Well, I still like the Ravens here. And then Falcons, Chargers. You like the Falcons in this game.
Yeah, and so the previous game, I like the Chargers because I think Jim is still reeling about losing to John in the Super Bowl, and he's going to find
it probably keeps it up all night. I just think the Ravens are a better team. They got the 2-time on their team. Yeah, I got to go with the Ravens.
And in Week 13, I like the Falcons in Atlanta. I just think.
You think this is a Michael Penix game, or do you think Kirk Cousins plays?
I think this is Kirk Cousins, but I just think them having to travel all the way across to Atlanta after a few home games.
What do you think this is going to be like?
Potential.
You think this could be a noon game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me the Falcons. Give me Kirk Cousins at noon. Against
Kirk Cousins is not a man to scorn.
Yeah. Then we got the Buccaneers next. I'll take the Chargers in that game. Oh yeah. I like the Chargers against the Chiefs second time. Like I said, I just don't see Harbaugh getting swept by anybody in the division. And then next up, I'll take the Chargers versus the Buccaneers, as will you. I'll take the Chargers versus the Broncos, as will you. And then I kind of like this Patriots team a little bit. I love their coach. I love what they're doing, and I like Drake May. And I think they could start out pretty poor, but I think they could string together a couple of wins. I think they go around 7-10ish on the year, but I think they get 3 or 4 wins in the last 5 weeks. I like the Patriots here. I had the Raiders beating them twice, but I think I'm going to change my mind there. I think I'm going to take the Chargers here. I originally liked the Raiders there, but I don't think they lose bookends to the Raiders.
I like the Raiders here, but my issue with picking them here is like I look at their schedule and I cannot find 8 wins, and I just start to wonder if that team loses that many games early in the season, will they really come back around? Like that's where I end up with the Raiders. I just don't. I'm really struggling with it because their first half of the schedule is so brutal. I'm not sure they'll recover.
Antonio Pierce is like a no-quit guy. Like
he is, but
no matter what happens,
when the
like
guys
that,
quit on him. Like
I just don't think
they're at 1-6. I don't know.
I just don't think he's the guy that'll lose the locker room. I mean, I think he's like a Dan Quinn. Like when the Lions were 1-7 that first Dan Quinn year or whatever it was. Like they were still like all in every single week.
We got to talk the Raiders in a little bit anyway, so let's save it for that. But you've got the Chargers at 9-8, and I've got them at 10-7.
I think that's about right for them.
Yeah.
Let's go back to their page. Talk about bets that we like. Over under 8.5. So it looks like we both like the over there, but that's at -150.
Mm-hmm.
So don't love that. Playoffs.
I like them over 9.5 if you can get it.
Yeah. Playoffs, so they're
even.
Their favorite, or it's even money to make the playoffs. You lay in a little bit of juice to say they don't make the playoffs. Winning the division at +350, AFC Championship at +2100, and Super Bowl at +5000. So looking at these, I would say if I don't think I'm going to touch this team.
Yeah.
With a future, but if I were to do one, I'll probably take the division at +350, 3.5 to 1 with a Harbaugh-led team. The Chiefs, like we just talked about it, they won 8 straight, and this isn't really a bet against the Chiefs, but it's like it's football; anything can happen.
Yeah,
and if I don't like them to win the AFC Championship, I don't like them to make the win the Super Bowl.
I don't think they're just not ready.
8.5 is such a weird number, and you're not really getting great value there. So I mean, strictly value, I think division championship would be where I'm most leaning here.
I think I agree.
I wouldn't bet it, but just strictly value that would probably be where I went if I were to make a future on this team.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, that's the only one that stands out to me. And even that, like, I wouldn't bet it, but if I had to bet one, that's what I'm betting.
Hell, you could say that 10,000 times and
I
it
know.
still wouldn't be enough.
It fires me up, man.
I love it. Say it one more time.
Shake and bake!
Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah, it rhymes. They're both verbs.